Hello. Hello, how's everybody doing? I'm trying to go live again for the third time. Let me see if I can invite Saba on now. Um, let's see. I saw the option to add friends. Let's see. So yes, we are live, and I'm just waiting for other people to join. I just invited Saba. Once she joins, I guess I can invite her on. Finally, hopefully. Yeah, we started out in Be Live and then we went to Facebook Live on my laptop. So Be Live would not work. Actually, when I went to Be Live, there was I could hear her, but then she couldn't hear me. And then once she could hear me, I couldn't hear her. So then we went to Facebook and I invited her to join the live. But for some reason, I couldn't invite her on the actual broadcast. So that was interesting. And I just invited her to this, but I'm not seeing anybody come on. So let me see if I can send her a message. Let's see. She may not be able to get it because she's probably on her phone. Yeah, no matter what, I mean, it just seems like yeah, you can get as early as ready or get ready, 15, 20 minutes in advance, and then you still have all these issues and everything. Um, yeah, I don't know what's going on because I cannot see anybody. Now I have one person that joined, and I cannot see the comments. Let me see if I can. So it looks like we finally may have this. I'm adding her now to my broadcast. So,
Hey,
yeah, some pretty interesting, huh? We had to go, I guess, run around the whole world to,
jeez, that took forever. At least we figured it out.
yeah, that's true. Persistence, that's something you got to have as an
Oh
entrepreneur, right? You
yeah,
got to have
for
persistence.
sure. Well, I
Yeah.
I'm excited to
Yeah,
be on
so
here.
yeah, I guess you probably don't have that much time now. So I don't know if you have another appointment or after this, or I mean, because I don't want to keep you too long.
No, I have
So
a good like 20-ish minutes. We can do a live.
oh, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. So yeah, so everybody, just want to introduce Saba to you. So yeah, I guess you guys have seen the post. Actually, she just did a TEDx talk. And I don't know if she wants to explain anything, about that or go into detail about that, but I know that's pretty big because she's been posting it on her page and everything. So that's I don't know. You can have the floor now, Saba, if you want to talk about
Well, what is it? So for I'm gonna give the most like value for your audience. So what is it like right now that everyone's like working on, or what focus can I talk about? Because I can talk about like a whole plethora of things with like branding, with marketing, with Instagram, with getting speaking engagements. Like, what is it that I can really focus on? Because just like I can tell my story, but I know that's going to take up a little bit of time. So I'll give a little bit background about myself, but then I want to really focus in on what your audience would find valuable of me talking about what specific thing.
Well, I know as far as scaling, that was just kind of, the introductory question, but I didn't know how long, of a detail, you were going to go into. But actually, my group is actually, I guess they're geared more towards scaling their agency. So I know as far as I know you do a lot of things with branding and everything. So I was actually just going to, I guess, kind of want you to, I guess, give an introductory as far as your background and
Yeah.
everything, and then, kind of just lead into the detailed questions. So,
Yeah, for sure. So long story short, so I've probably been in the entrepreneurship space for about 3 years. It's only been about maybe a year and a half as I've been building up my own brand. And I actually started to work with clients about like 8 to 10 months ago now. So I met my mentor when I was a sophomore in college, which was about 3 years ago now. And I started to work alongside his companies. And pretty much what he was doing was helping other businesses build up their brands, get funding if it was like a startup type of company, and overall use marketing and PR to build up their brands on social media. So I learned a lot from my mentor working with big influential people. So I was like, okay, I kind of want to, tangent off and start building my own brand online. And as I was going through the process working with my mentor, I was also sharing posts and experiences as I would go to red carpet events and different events with Brandon and work with these people. So I would just be posting online, let alone I didn't know that I was, sharing my story. Like I was building my brand without even knowing it, which a lot of people do. So once I realized I was already doing that, I started to structure out more detailed with like content, how often I was posting to share my experiences through college and building up this brand. And then fast forward a little bit, I got a lot interested in Instagram because like for my brand it's very visual. I do like a lot of photo shoots. I have my brand Unforgettable. We have t-shirts. So I started to build that up on Instagram and people started to come with me asking for help. So I was like, okay, why not start helping people craft their story and their brand message on Instagram? So I started to do that about 8 to 10 months ago now. Started to do that for a little bit with like local businesses, entrepreneurs. And then it was more so that had my, I had the knowledge on how to do it on Instagram, but I also had the entire macro knowledge of how to build out an entire brand story and message on social media in general. So that's when I kind of switched gears and now I'm helping other people to really build up their brand, focusing on, okay, what is their actual storyline and their message and how they can use that and position themselves in their specific industry, whether it's like e-commerce, affiliate marketing, running agency, and how they can position themselves in that specific niche in that industry for them to become like the go-to person. So that's just like a little bit background about me. I know what I'm doing right now. So as far as people, so you said that your students, everyone in the group, are in the scaling stage, correct?
yes, actually, my group is mostly geared toward new agency owners. So I'm
Okay.
trying to, I guess, document my process as far as how I start, from zero, because I'm still working on, my clients. I've done a lot of I've worked with clients, but I'm actually looking for my actually first paying clients. So actually, I just kind of want to scale. I just want to document how I scaled my agency. So it's kind of like, my group is a documentation as far as, how I went from 0 clients to, 1,000 clients, or, from $0 to, how many ever, amount of dollars and everything.
Yeah.
So, and actually, right now, as I say, my group's, just, pretty much just getting, started out and everything. So I'm trying to, get into I guess, the habit of, interviewing people and just bringing, I guess, different, sources on, different entrepreneurs on that actually have been in the space for a while. And they're actually, performing pretty good. Because I think that you grew your, like you said, you've only been here a year and a half, and you're pretty big. I don't know, is that on my end or your end? I'm hearing some type of feedback or something, or static.
It might be on your, I don't
That
know.
might be
I
my,
hear it
yeah,
also. I don't know where it's coming
yeah.
from, but I do hear it. Hopefully you can
All
still
right.
hear me fine though. But
I can
yeah.
hear
So
you.
the entire documentation thing, that's like golden. That's literally how I built up my audience and my following the last year. So I just graduated from college this past May. So I actually documented my entire senior year of college by doing a daily Facebook Live. So that right there, when I was showing the entire process of me building up my brand Unforgettable, building up businesses, getting clients, that's how I actually built out my audience. So what you're doing right now is like perfect because what people like to see is the actual process and how someone's going about building up something. Because for them, the audience that's watching us on the other side they want to have a relatable factor. If all we're showing is just our successes and flashy things, they're going to be like, oh, that's cool. I want to get to that point. But there's no way they can relate to you because they're not at that point already. So the first thing is like, definitely when you are building up a brand in any industry, it is sharing your story and the entire process of how you're going about it. And then when it comes more to like, okay, how you can turn that audience into clients, it's about constantly putting out value and actually showing them tactical things that they can start implementing in their business. Now, since for like this group and for you, it's an agency, when I first got my first couple of clients, depending once again what industry and niche you're in, for me, I was doing like social media management, like mainly with Instagram. I literally just went out to local businesses and got their business. I truly think like running an agency, that's like starting and running an agency and getting clients, I believe is the easiest model to get into entrepreneurship. Once you do that and you become an expert at it, then you can teach others to do the same thing. So going out and doing it locally first, I believe is the easiest way because these local businesses, they're practicing old methods of marketing. They're not online. They don't have time to do it. So if you actually go and be like, hey, this is what I've done. This is what I can do for you. And this is why your old model like pretty much sucks, you know? If you don't have any experience working with clients whatsoever at all in the past, I recommend doing it for free for someone just so you have like a case study or a testimonial. So when you go and approach somebody, they're like, okay, what work have you done? So it's not just like, oh, I've never really done anything. However, that doesn't like stop you from actually going on and still doing it. I remember the first client I got, I was working with my friend's account. It wasn't that intense. I was doing the work for her. I was just like doing some posting, creating copy and stuff. But the first person that I actually pitched locally, I still work with them. It was like a local restaurant and brewery. I pitched them on like a $1,500 package and I showed them all the upfront value that I could bring them. And they bought into it like literally instantly because number one, they had zero knowledge about what I was talking about. They didn't want to learn how to do it. And they saw how that like I live in a college town, so they saw how millennials are on social media. So they need to bring in that type of audience. So like if you guys are doing like Facebook ads, it's probably along the lines of Facebook ads or like social media marketing or management or something. That's how you approach these clients, is showing them what value you can bring them and pretty much knocking down the old meds that they're using right now.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. You mentioned value. I know that everybody talks a lot about, value. And I know I'm in the process of right now actually trying to brand myself as well as branding your business because I guess a lot of entrepreneurs, I guess they think, especially agency owners, they think that they can just build up their agency and their brand. But the thing is, you have to build your personal brand as well, with your agency, because I think that'll actually draw clients. And I guess, that's one easy way that'll actually draw businesses and stuff to you. The fact that, you're building your own brand up, your personal brand. So
Yeah.
I'm actually in the process of doing that because I think I told you I was in Robb Quinn's program,
Yeah.
so his mastermind. So actually, we're in the process of doing that. So I mean, obviously, that it's a hard thing to do as far as building your brand, your personal brand, and also your brand for your company. So I guess as far as getting started, because I know you said you've been in the business for about a year and a half now. So as far as getting started, I mean, what at what moment did you just did everything just click? I mean, what was your aha moment? I mean, do you have a specific example or a situation or circumstance that you just say, oh yeah, that was it right there?
So I think for me, when I actually start to create my offer and actually go to local businesses and pitch it to them, I think it was when I actually landed my first client. I was like, okay, I can actually do this. Because I think the hardest part about anyone starting or even like scaling is they think they can to get someone to pay them money. And it's either for two reasons. It's either they feel like they can't bring them a result, or it's more of a confidence issue that they feel like they're not worthy enough to like have someone, pay them to, give value for their company. So for me, it was kind of the roadblock of I didn't think that someone's going to pay me freaking $1,500 a month for me to like manage their Instagram and build their brand. Like I didn't think that. However, I knew the value that I would bring them was like well worth the money because I would be bringing in clients for their company. So once I wrapped my head around that and I actually pitched it to them with confidence and I closed, I was like, okay, I can actually do this. And I think once you get into that type of mindset and you do close that first sale, it's kind of like a momentum thing and kind of a domino effect too. You get that momentum, and as you keep doing reach outs, that's how you kind of get the ball rolling. But also one thing is when you do get your first sale, some people, I mean, probably not after your first sale, once you get like a good consistent flow of income, what does happen to some people is they get comfortable at where they're at. So it's hard for them to scale because in order to scale, like you need to outsource your work. So that's letting go of some of your money and some of your control. For me, I'm in the process of still outsourcing more work. I'm the type of person who like I need to make sure what's going on in my business at all times. So it's like letting go of control. That's something that I'm doing right now. So definitely that entire process is something that everyone needs to do. And I recommend doing it in the beginning once you do get a consistent flow of income. So it's not like, you know, months and years down the road when people are actually flooding to you, wanting to work with you, you have no idea how to take on these clients because you don't have a system set up.
Yeah, that's something that actually I've already developed as far as a team. So now I'm just waiting, you know, to pull everybody else in because because like I said, you know, I did actually perform some free trials with clients, and actually, you know, I got the guys some results on a low ad spend. So I got about 100 subscribers in a week or 2 weeks or something like that to his messenger bot. And the thing is, you know, it took a lot of time. It took me a lot of time to actually, you know, develop, you know, as far as, you know, develop the process for me to, work with them. And plus, you know, I had to build everything out on my own. And plus I still work a 9-to-5 job. So
Yeah.
that's, you know, it's kind of hard, you know, to, do all that and, have a wife, family and kids and all that stuff. And, you know, just try to keep your sanity, get time, you know, to yourself. Because actually, you know, I'm an introvert. So that's, I need my, you know, my me time, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it, you know, it's kind of hard, I guess, to adjust your schedule and do all that stuff and, you know, accommodate everything. And I guess as far as some of the things that you're doing in your business now, what do you think that most other entrepreneurs would find controversial? Like as far as, you know, do you have a specific thing that you normally do or that you would do that other entrepreneurs or other people in our industry might find controversial or even say, well, why is she doing it like that? It shouldn't be done that way.
So if you have been following my stuff a lot and if you know like my personality when I do lives, I'm extremely like sassy. For me, it's like when I'm creating content, I'm also very like transparent and authentic. So sometimes when I do lives, I like cuss and I tell people like the blatant truth. And some people, they don't like that because it just straight out, you know, it's something that people know that they need to change. However, they're in their comfort bubble. So for them to actually make a change in their business or in their life, they have to be doing something different. So I think like in the type of posts that I create, like with like the image and the copy, I like to be extremely truthful. And I do get a lot of comments, sometimes hate comments about certain topics, especially when it comes down to perspective on things, like different perspectives on how you should be more so like I don't even know how to explain like how you should be seeing things in your business and in your life from like an optimistic viewpoint, because there's like a difference. Like I'm not completely optimistic. I see the both sides of like optimism and I can't talk pessimism. However, like if you see my copy, there's like a certain structure on how I structure out each piece of content, and literally what I'm doing within my copy, if you read it, it's like all intertwined with psychology and how you're thinking about the certain situations that you do every single day. So if problems arise, it's psychology based on how you're reacting to those problems. So I know for me, like I'm the type of person that I analyze myself and how I react to my problems. I do the same thing when clients come to me wanting to work with me. I actually made a post about this just yesterday. It was like the title was communication is hearing what's not being said. When clients come to you, especially for me, when they say they want to build up their brand, their business, and they want to be financially free, they're coming to me because they want to be doing all that. However, the end result that they get is more confidence, feeling fulfilled in what they're truly doing. And then, you know, it's the tactical things I'm teaching them. So it's like a fine line between finding exactly like the core problem that you're truly having, because 10 out of 10 times, well, I guess I'll say like 9 out of 10 times, the tactical things and the knowledge and information that you need, it's literally all on the internet. But the reason why people don't succeed is because of their mindset and how they're perceiving things. So I say it's like 80% mindset and 20% tactical things.
Yeah, that's interesting because I know a lot of people think you can just, go up there and just put up a Facebook ad and be like, well, I'm trying to sell so and so, so and so. Let me just go, write something out and just send it out to Facebook, or most people think, it's about their target audience once they find the right target audience. But still, I mean, you're saying that there is actually, a psychology
Oh, yeah.
behind, just copy. So, I mean, that's interesting you say that because most people don't think about that side of, their copy. They're pretty much just thinking about, well, once I find the right, target audience, everything's going to be okay. And, I feel and believe that I have the right product, but once I have, my audience honed in and, once once I do have my audience, I'll build lookalike audiences off of that. But I mean, still, there's more to, just, running a Facebook ad. And I know, actually, it kind of led into my next question as far as, why do you think some people fail? Why don't people meet their dreams? But I mean, you pretty much just said, it's their mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is that, because going into entrepreneurship, the reason that, like, a lot of the majority of people, why they want to go into it is because they want to be like free. They want to be making their own money. They want to have a flexible schedule, which is great. We all want that. However, when someone goes into entrepreneurship with the mindset that their only goal is to make money, that's like, it's going to be extremely hard for them to succeed. And the reason why I know is because at a certain point in time when I first started out, all I was doing was chasing money. And I tried a whole bunch of things. Like I podcasted, I'd done strictly e-commerce, I've tried Facebook ads, I did all of these different things. And I made money doing them. However, like I was at both points where I was trying to build up like my brand and business, doing these different things. I was making no money. But then I was over here doing the same things. I was making a little bit of money, but like morning routine, reading books, listening to podcast shows that really put your mindset to really, make yourself feel that you can be doing something. Like I did a live about this in my group just yesterday, actually, also about how I structure out my days. And every single morning I listen to podcasts or read something that's inspirational to get my mind to focus and set for the day.
Yeah, that's interesting. You talk a lot about mindset and everything, and I know I've heard a lot of other, I guess, people that are actually a lot of other business owners that say, they meditate in the morning and
Yeah.
stuff. That actually, they get their mind right and everything like that. And I got as far as starting over, like if you were to, I guess, start over, pretty much, you're already starting. But I mean, if you did everything, because obviously you've learned a lot within, the year and a half. I mean, I guess some of the things that you learn, it seems like people that have even been in business maybe 15, 20 years haven't, even discovered, or if they discovered it, they might have found it out, and then, like 10th or 11th year or something in business. But I guess if you did have to start over from the ground up, what would you do? I mean, what formula would you take? What system would you use? Because I know pretty much like me, I mean, you've done e-commerce and you ran ads and, pretty much you try to do your own thing. How would you, I guess, start over again? Would you start strictly with, your agency, or would you, I guess, or how would you start?
Right. So that's an interesting question because when as I've built up my brand, there was a lot of different things that I did to build it up. Like, it was writing my book also, like my best-selling book, leveraging that to get on TV, which also helped building up my brand. So I guess, like, if I were to start over and if I was giving myself advice and if I was just starting, I think I would really focus in on doing one thing and not being afraid of change, because I think this is where a lot of people struggle at, is when they go all into something, they feel like they need to stick with that one thing, but then that causes them to not grow in different areas. Because when you enter entrepreneurship, like, your first idea you're going to have, you're probably not going to continue doing that for like 20, 30 years. Like, it's going to evolve in some way. When I started my brand Unforgettable, it was just a t-shirt line. Like, now it's an entire business where I help people build their brands, but I still do have my t-shirt line. That's just another stream of income. So when you're starting out, what I would do is I would focus in on one specific aspect of my business. So for me, it would probably be just building my brand in general, like doing the entire documentation process, like similar to what I did do, but then focus it on either just branding or just Instagram, teaching people how to just craft their story, like one thing, become a master at that, and then start branching off. So I kind of did that, but I was a little all over the place when I was building out my brand because I was using a lot of credibility things to like get on TV and stuff, which did definitely help. And that's like another great way to really boost up your brand even more, is when someone sees you on TV, when you get pictures of that and post on social media, they're like, oh my gosh, that's a credible person. Who is that? You know, follow them. So,
Yeah.
that's also like a great way to build up your brand and be seen in front of a lot more people. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's kind of how I would go about doing it.
Yeah, the reason why I smiled so big as far as you saying being on TV, the fact is I've heard that like several times. Actually, I've heard 3 or 4 people say that. And I mean, how easy is it to get on TV? Some people say it's pretty easy to get on TV. It came easy for them and it was, natural for them. So do you, I mean, obviously, well, I know you did your TEDx and everything. Other than that, have you actually been on a broadcast or TV broadcast or anything?
Yeah. So I've been on TV 4 times now. So within the past like
Or,
year or so, yeah, 4 times. So it really depends kind of on your location too. I'm from a small town, so people want to, like, the TV stations, they want to highlight people in the community that are doing cool things. So every time that I went on TV, it was TV stations around Iowa. So I would pitch them different stories that I had about, like, one of them was about my best-selling book. So I pitched it to them around August, which was back to school time. My book was around college students, so that worked out. Another time was literally, this one was, I didn't expect for myself to get on TV. This was when I was actually documenting my senior year. I pitched it to them and I was like, hey, I'm doing this because this is my journey. I want to show it. And I got on TV. Like, that was a little bit more like self-promotion, but it worked. And that's like another thing. You never know if something's going to work. And like, you just need to email them and do it. So, and then the other 2 times was me promoting just an event. So that was a little bit different because it was in the community. So, like local TV stations, they want to highlight you. So just like pitch them and see what happens. The worst they'll say is just no, or they won't reply back.
yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting you say pitch because I just listened to something yesterday from the Wolf of Wall Street. Actually, he was on YouTube and he talked about selling and how, you need to be able to sell because he said Warren Buffett would just be a great investor, if he could not, if he wasn't a great salesman. I mean, nobody would know who he is. He'd just be an investor. So, That's interesting. You talked about sales, and it, obviously, I know it's about time for it because I know you kind of just technical difficulties and everything in the beginning. So I just got one more question.
For
So,
sure.
if you were to have one superpower, what would it be? I'm pretty sure you may have heard this question before.
Like any superpower? Like, do you want it
Yeah,
to be like skill based or just
I
any
mean, it's up
superpower?
to you. I mean, yeah, any superpower. I mean, it doesn't have to be related to business or anything. So,
Hmm. I think the one superpower I would have is the ability to actually, like, I feel like I'm already really good at this and I already talked about it, is the ability to actually see people and who they truly are. Because like it kind of goes back to entire like psychology and analyzing of people. I feel like some people, like this even happened to myself, some people truly don't know who they are until someone analyzes them and tells them themselves. Because when I met my mentor, I didn't even know I had the capabilities to do all of this. Like he showed me throughout the entire process of him doing it and me learning from him. So once I realized that I can actually be doing this and I realized who I actually was as a person, then I was able to go out and build everything. For me, I feel like I've gotten very good at analyzing people with their psychology, how they react and act to different situations. So if I just had the superpower to like just see right through them and see where they're at, that would give me the better ability to help them so they can actually live the life they want to be doing.
yeah, that's interesting. You say somebody else had to show you, what was
Mm,
in you, because I guess sometimes, well, I guess some people think they're either, too good or they think they're not good enough. So
right.
that's pretty interesting that you had to have an outside source, actually, pull, what you needed out of you or just to show you because it was already in you. But the thing is, I guess they just pretty much had to stir it up, inside of you. Got you pretty much. That's the thing. You have to get yourself to believe in yourself, because
Yeah.
obviously, it really doesn't mean, somebody else telling you to do, specific things and certain tasks and stuff. And the thing is, it's like, they see it in you, but yet you have to believe that, you can do what they're saying you're going to do. So
Right.
that's interesting you said that. But, I really do appreciate you coming on here, just having, just a chat, just to, give some knowledge to my group. I really do appreciate it. And
Yeah. Well, for
thanks, and
sure.
hopefully we'll do it again. Yeah. So yeah, actually, I guess I first noticed you through Dean. I don't know. Usually he's on here. He's
Yeah.
kind of he's in the mentorship program. So
Yeah, Dean's
yeah. So I
awesome.
appreciate.
I did a couple lives with him in his group too. Yeah, he's pretty awesome. But yeah, I appreciate you bringing me on here. It was a lot of fun for sure.
All right. Thanks so much, Saba, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
All right, talk soon.
All right. All right. All right. Bye.